their flags correct last time or not, but it's like a dangling glasses.
They did. They're sunglasses, I think. I think they're supposed to be sunglasses. You know, they're real cool dudes on Nouns.
Are those eyeballs in them still?
No,
though?
I don't think they're
it's
eyeballs.
Part white, part black. Are you sure? I don't know.
I mean, I'm not 100%
like
sure. I'm sure that someone on Twitter will probably let us know. But I know T went through this whole grand scheme of like, this is how it's going to go down. There's going to be the Razor. Razor's going to latch on to Medusa, but Gunner's going to kick her away. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, what are you thinking here when we see this draft coming out?
I mean, that's definitely the most interesting thing is certainly Gunner playing mid-tusk. This is one of his specialty heroes that he likes playing. He plays it regularly. Getting the Ags is certainly very powerful, but is it going to work out if he gets doomed is another problem. I mean, and the other issue is that Nouns, their damage is very focused on basically Medusa. I guess Hoodwink outputs some decent damage as well, so they have some kill potential there, but I feel like in ultra late game fights, all the heroes on EG just look so freaking tanky, and they've got a Chen to back them up too, so that means even more armor and heals. So I don't know, I feel like in a later game fight, EG is going to look really strong, and if they can't kill the Medusa, then Costabile should be able to turn things in Nouns' favor.
So I guess the question is, how do you ensure that, you know, EG stays behind here, right? Because that if you go toe to toe, if both teams are, you know, just following on track, yes, Medusa is going to become a problem late game, but then again, on the side of Evil Geniuses, they're going to get really tanky, and they don't quite have that damage coming out from Nouns. So how do they ensure that they get the upper hand here?
Shutting down Medusa is certainly one really good way. On the Noun side, they want to make sure that they just keep their net worth semi-comparable. That way, Medusa can be the frontliner to say, okay, you want to X-boat combo me? I don't care. I'm a Medusa. Obviously, you also have to worry about getting doomed potentially before you get off your Stone Gaze, but a lot of that's going to come down to initiation. But Nouns have a really strong early game. Beastmaster worked out really well for them last game. They've got Enchantress to secure this lane for Medusa. That is going to help out a lot as well. And Husky also can frontline a little bit. So they kind of need to like poke and stay survivable and basically allow themselves to survive against EG so that they can eventually turn fights. That should be how they should play this game.
Are there specific itemizations that you want to see to ensure that, you know, they stay very survivable?
It's mostly just about net worth, making sure Dusa is semi-comparable in survivability, that they have like Vlad's aura coming from Beastmaster to make Costabile a little stronger, and that Husky, if all goes well, he can also get enough items to be survivable. That maybe some force staffs too, that way they can offset some of those static link problems in the mid game that Medusa will run into.
Yeah, that'll be very important that they're able to have that mobility.
Gunner doing great though, 9-1. He's got his bottle on the way. Abed going instead for a bracer stack build instead, not too worrying as much about his spells here.
Makes sense, and it's fairly quiet though early on here. Not seeing too much of a kill potential coming out from either of these lanes just yet.
See if Gunner can get the bottom water rune. That would be pretty nice actually. It's, got Snowball here, so probably capable. It's going to be kind of important. I don't know.
They're racing. No, he can't get there in time. They were racing.
Yeah, the Snowball. He should have ran a little bit earlier. That would have been really big for him.
Ooh, that was very close here. Top lane does have the salve though, but the pressure is definitely being applied from the side of EG.
I do like EG's lanes really. They look really good here for Arteezy at least. It's kind of similar to last game, just generally they get to be abusive, but with Chen it's even more so. Lots of pressure to zone out Hoodwink, who doesn't really want to trade with these Chen creeps, nor can she. And then Moo's going to try to harass a little bit with Wild Axes, but Bloodseeker, much like Chaos Knight, has really good sustain here.
You have a lot of Zoo going on here, right? Because you've got Moo, he's playing his Beastmaster. You've got, of course, a Chen online, and then you also have the Enchantress, so you're seeing a lot of trading of creeps, and I'm sure heavy push strat coming out too.
That's exactly right, and I think it looks a little better for EG in that sense because they've got a little bit better counter push. I guess they have like Wild Axes on Nouns and maybe like the Hoodwink spells, and I guess the Ice Shards can be okay, but it might be a little bit difficult for them to counter push anything that EG goes for later on. But we'll see how the Chen and the Enchant matches up. Chen is seen as an inferior hero to Enchantress for the last bit of time, but Chen can work too.
I mean, the lockdown's a little bit light coming out from the side of Evil Geniuses, right? I mean, in both sides, you've got a little bit lighter of the lockdown. You've got the ultimate, obviously, with the Rupture coming out from Bloodseeker, will be able to hold place. X is obviously a fantastic spell. And then eventually, you know, depending on the creep that crit pits up, he can get the War Stomp. You can also get creeps that have lockdown on Chen, but...
That's a good point. Yeah, their lockdown is a little bit weak outside of X combo. That could definitely hurt them a little bit, especially against the survivable heroes. Whereas on the Nouns side, I think they're relatively happy. Gunner's going to be great at disabling heroes. They've got Roar follow-up. They could also land Hoodwink stuns with Bushwhack. So I think they're going to be looking a little bit more safe. But a lot of it's going to come down to how fast does he get Ags on Gunner, the Tusk, and can he find opportunities to just yoink some EG hero back into his teammate? Or is it going to be like he gets doomed, X comboed out of position, and they're able to kill him? Without Medusa responding. So these mid-game fights are going to be big, assuming net worth is close. The laning stage is still very important here. Or Costa Bila had to buy a Windlace to try to get away from Razor a little bit faster here.
That is indeed a problem that can occur when you're facing off with Razor. Good old race car Razor, as they used to call him.
He doesn't even have Storm Surge yet, but it's still very important that Dusa doesn't lose her damage. That's going to be a big part of this game, really. Just how much damage do you lose from a static link as the fight develops?
She's just so slow. That's the one issue about a Medusa, right? It just takes way too long. Like, you know, a lot of the times you'll even see her getting pinballed around in the fights with the Force Staff. And again, this is what you see happen. They're going to try to just slow down the Razor, break the link, turn it back around, steal a little bit of the damage, and they have the enchant, so they'll put out a little bit of harass over onto Nightfall. Husky does have to be careful, though. He might, yeah, all right, Nightfall outplaying Husky here with that Plasma Field. That's going to be the first blood.
It was great that they're pressuring Nightfall because he doesn't have any regen here, so getting him low meant that he would be zoned from the lane for a bit, but Husky just overestimating his survivability. He had some good heal going, but Razor just had a lot of damage stolen still, so when he finally turned, it was easy kill.
Husky's back in the lane, though, and they did manage to go and, you know, like you said, apply the pressure, try to make it so that way he feels a little bit less comfortable approaching the lane until he gets more of that regen. But I do have a rotation here in the mid lane. Coming out from Chen, but just going to push Gunner back just a little bit.
Hasn't been a super easy lane for Gunner because he's going to constantly get Tidebringer smashed. Oh, wow. Landed his full combo to get Arcane Rune.
He wanted that rune.
Right. Was a little surprising. I mean, this is going to lead to a tower pressure. That part's pretty good.
Yeah, you can see the rotation coming out here. The X marks spot over onto Husky. Crit's also in position. That should be a dead Deer Lady. So there it is. And the pressure continues. Z-Freak, he's trying his best to try to push them away. But there's only so much that a level 3 Hoodwink can do right now.
Yeah, they need to kill the catapult, but it still has one tower hit left on it. So they'll just tank this up and it's going to get low. Oh, never mind. They'll just stop tanking it for a brief moment. The catapult dies, but they might still be able to get it.
Could probably get Z-Freak here. Fly. Seeing the Hoodwink, they're going to get the X off, drag right back in, and they'll bonk on the head from Crit. Make sure they get the kill.
All right. It's really good for them. I mean, Tusk is okay at pulling creep waves back, but the issues here is he doesn't really have as many safe places to get last hits now.
Get the net thrown out over onto Abed. He's fairly tanky, though, again. Gunner is going to go for that snowball. Just be careful. Fly is here. Another net thrown out. Crit making his way over. Hits over onto Gunner, and that's a dead Tusk. Some body blocks coming out. Poor Husky. He's just trapped in all these creeps, and a demon has a double kill now for Crit. And is it going to be a triple? Can they get over there fast enough? Now it looks like Z-Freak will be able to scurry away through the tree line, although he's going to walk right into Crit. Oh, man. All right. This is looking like maybe he will get it. A little bit of burn, 25 hit points. Nah, Z-Freak with the salve. Does have a couple of those stick charges. It's going to survive.
EG's just owning these rotations they did on the mid lane, accomplishing the tower kill, and now they're going to rotate to pressuring safe lane. Medusa is not going to get a lot of time to hit creeps here. He even has to ulti to get back to his tier 2. Really rough.
That's feeling a little bit spooky for Nouns.
Yeah, so they're just going to leave their safe lane now as EG continues to pressure. They're just getting so much more value out of this.
Right, there's the Rupture. They have the X in place. Torrent, everything that they need here for Gunner. He's not going to be able to get home. And that's a kill for Arteezy.
You know, maybe they got a little too cheeky expecting the mid Tusk to work. It's certainly something EG was prepped for. What are we going to do if he goes for Tuskar? Well, Kunkka works great here. Abed just kind of bullied him in lane. Then they did the rotation with the 5-minute catapult. They get the mid tower, and that just opens the jungle, which not only undercuts what Gunnar wants to do, but also undercuts what Medusa wants to do. So, unfortunately for them, maybe the Tusk works great in late game if their networks are similar, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case now. So, kind of really opens up Nouns' strategy in a big way.
I mean, that's what we were discussing earlier. Although, you know, little bit of, you know, silver lining. They do manage to get the tower in the top lane. So that will open up the jungle a tiny bit here, but that's what we were saying earlier, though, about the draft is that, you know, this draft coming out from Nouns, it needs to keep up that momentum and the pressure. If they start to fall behind, things start getting very scary because they do have the Medusa as the late game policy, but if the rest of the team is just paper, they're not going to be able to stand toe-to-toe with EG in that later.
Yeah, and even if they are standing perfectly positioned and Dusa is the front line, she might still die.
They know exactly where he is, so they've got the War Stomp, they've got everything they need. One more hit should be able to do the trick, and Crit is just on fire right now. Gunnar, I'm gonna try to force him out. Snowball, Walrus Punch, couple more clicks with the shard, just gonna hold in place, and whoop, the axe is coming in hot.
They needed that kill so badly. Finally getting for their first kill on the board. That's a mega kill streak for Crit, by the way. He's got 5 kills. 5 of the 7 kills have been his. He has been playing remarkably good. He even picks up the tome here. He's like, sorry, Chen, I want another point in Devour or something.
Easy, Freak.
Good, he'll be very farmed.
He's walking his pet squirrel over here, but Bushwhack will push him back. It feels like, yeah, it's just a total turn on the head here. EG playing very, very quickly. Z-Freak, oh dear, this is looking like a dead squirrel. Yep. But the aggression is really amped up here on the side of EG. They played this very well.
Yeah, they really have been. It just feels like the Hoodwink hasn't been able to slow down what EG's been doing. You know, he's more of like a disabler follow-up type hero. He hasn't hit 6 yet, not even close, of course. So even getting level advantages have been tough. So he's like scrambling to try to like slow this shit down, but it just doesn't feel like he's even close to being able to do so. Maybe they get fly at least.
They should be able to get fly. I say they should. All right, the Bushwhack. All right, eventually.
Okay. The disable follow-up works.
Husky slowing down with the enchant. SPG though, they're nearby. Will apply the break over to the Razor, but they're just a little hesitant here. How did they get in here? It's going to take a little bit of time here in the shards. Does have the boat coming in, going to be able to get that buff on himself, and they walk away so easily right now on the side of EG. Nouns, they're struggling. Nightfall is still here, does have that Tumbler's Toy, but hasn't quite managed to get off the side. As they'll follow up over onto move, he's already used the Roar. Bloodright getting placed on the ground, though, plus the Stone Gaze. They'll turn their attention over to the Dusa, who is X up. And they're going to hold into place. Can they finish off Kasabali? Yes, they can. Nightfall, he's still alive. Gunnar, he's hoping maybe he can get the shards, maybe he can get the vision, maybe he can do anything, but he is, of course, doomed as Nightfall hops back down. Eye of the Storm, plenty of damage. He'll turn the tables. And now Husky's just getting chased by Arteezy.
It made sense for them to cut right going for the Razor because he was separated from the rest of the squad, but they just didn't have enough single target damage. They had already used Hoodwink ultimate earlier in the fight. If they used Roar, they are hit slapping with Enchantress, but like they just don't have any damage output yet. And they committed to that fight, but they all got wiped. So really bad place for the Nouns to be at right now. There's the replay clip. Like they threw their spells in, but they just genuinely don't have that much damage.
Yeah, I mean the Hand of God helped out quite a bit too, but
that's true. Little extra heal definitely kept him alive. But
he should be dead. Like, look at Nightfall's like 60 HP here.
And if they actually didn't doom Gunnar there, Gunnar actually does clean up that kill. So that was a great doom fight crit. He would have been able to soul ring and snowball after landing the ice shards. So definitely a really nice defense there. Crit continuing to overperform this game. He's already got a Blink Dagger, by the way, at 12 minutes from a 4-position doom. And he's got War Stomp, of course. So yeah, he's looking really good.
I feel like we've seen some really good Doom play recently as well. I think in the other game with Kataomi was also just having really great positioning. It was just a really good Doom game on top of it because there were lots of heroes that were very susceptible to it, but it's been a good Doom day.
It has. A lot of effective Doom force. But EG smokes towards top lane, looking for a potential pickoff of a carry or maybe an off-lane hero. Nouns are still playing in this area, so see if they can prevent this from happening, but Yeah, just both teams poking a little bit, looking for their opportunities.
I do feel like you've got to be a bit concerned when you look at Medusa's net worth right now comparatively to what's coming out from EG. It's not the end of the world, obviously. Medusa's one of those heroes with the split shot. She can farm very quickly, but it's not a position that I think Nouns really wants to be in, as they immediately find themselves a Tusk over here in the corner. The snowball, buying a little bit more time. We'll bump into Fly, but this is not looking good for Tusk, especially not with Abed. Like, Abed doesn't even pay attention. He's like, you know what, I'm just going to go hit the tower.
Yeah, he knew they had the kill. I mean, they pop glyph at least, so that does buy them a little time, but gonna mech these Chen creeps. He should have tanked this so long, actually. He does lose a few of them, but I think they'll be able to force the tower dying. Yep.
They're seeing the TPs, though. They're gonna try to push them away, perhaps. Axe getting tossed out by Moo. Abed does get stunned. Nightfall, though, waiting patiently. Still have Fly here. He's gonna steal himself the boar. And he's gonna get...
the boar back.
Yep.
That was a lot of switching of creep hands, basically. Mud Golem gets stolen, then the boar gets stolen, then the boar gets stolen back. So he did lose his Helm of the Dominator creep doing that action, but it guarantees the fly kill. So they lose their... Oh, actually, the tier 2's alive. Hell yeah, great defense by Nouns then, because that looked really bad.
Yeah, they can't afford to be losing that tier 2. That's already losing a lot of the space for the Medusa to be able to farm. So if they lose the tier 2, she's just restricted straight up to that triangle, and that is not good for Nouns.
Yeah, but it's still a big net worth disadvantage that they're playing at 8,000. Once again, Nightfall on the top of the net worth, of course, because he's just that kind of guy. Constantly winning his lane and transitioning so well. And a perfect place to counteract these skeletons, although he doesn't want to show. He's a little bit worried that the enemy squad will pop out and kill him if he does show on these.
I mean, these rally creeps are nowhere near as scary as they used to be when they first
That's true.
First came onto the scene, so he can afford to let them do a little bit of hits over on the tower, but Gunner needs to be careful. They are kind of circling like a shark right now. In fact, look at this crit. Just passing in the night, they find him. They'll doom him. They'll do everything, and Nightfall says, you know what, let me get a little bit of that damage before you go down, bro.
Yep. Not worth it to let him get away, so might as well pop the Doom. And now they're going to set up towards mid lane. They did see Doom TPing, so they're going to know that EG is trying to play in this area now. But the net worths continue for EG. I'm very confident in their lead right now. They should clean up this tier 2 bottom now with that pickoff. Gunnar was trying to stop this from happening by pushing out that bot lane as safely as he could. And even though Husky does damage the tier 1 tower of his own, still EG has really good map control.
I feel like Razor's such a silly hero. Like, you look at his items right now, and he's just got a BKB treads and the Falcon Blade currently. Like, not a lot, but he's still doing quite a bit here.
Yeah, those are the items that really just make the hero have tons of potential.
Yeah.
You get tanky naturally by your strength gain in these few items, and then you just get BKB, and you don't really have to worry about too much. If it's physical damage, well, you just static link him. You take that damage away, and he just gets to now frontline for his team. He's going to probably transition straight into the refresher. That way he gets the double ulti, double BKB. And yeah, they're just great position for EG to be in. Now they're going to invade, defend, or take over the enemy's tri-camp. That way it's harder for Nouns to move across the map and get farmed.
Okay, they're going to make
is ruptured.
Yeah. Well, force out the Stone Gaze. And the axe, they get him, they drag him right back in again. There's the boat, crit is here. They've got plenty of damage. There is no way for this Medusa to escape now. She's gonna have to try to fight her way through, and they just do not have the damage, don't have the hit points. EG will happily take that kill.
Perfectly done. Abed gets there just in time with 4 points of X. He had the vision. I think he had a torrent for vision first, then landed the X, if I'm not mistaken, but pulls her back.
See the replay of it here.
Pops the ulti, TP's in the tree. Yep, torrent for vision, I think, and then maybe I'm wrong. Either way, catches her.
No torrent.
Nice grab. And in the live game, EG's taken Roche with that.
Yeah.
Now that Medusa's dead for another 14 seconds.
Was the Maelstrom proc that gave them the vision? Is that?
No, Maelstrom does not get vision. It could have been Blood Right, maybe casted Blood Right for vision too, but it's either that or Torrent, probably.
And I just saw the one proc over there, and I was like, wait, that can't be it. But there we go. There's the Aegis. It's online for Arteezy. And the lead continues to grow here for Evil Geniuses.
Yep, and he's got BKB coming too on Bloodseeker, so only real thing he's got to worry about is Medusa ulti pretty much. But because her raw damage output is really not that extreme, I don't think EG's concerned at all with the current game state. They're going to pick off Z-Freak on the top lane. That's crit killing him with Doom. He's got a shard picked up as well and a Philly Stone on Doom, so in case he didn't have enough gold.
He's definitely going to be rolling in it soon. We have, like, perfect games so far here. Arteezy, no deaths on Orbit, no deaths on Nightfall either. Only one death on Crit, and Crit is doing a fantastic job this game. Very impressive.
And Gunnar is close to his Ags, at least. He's about 900 gold away, but considering how the game started, where he was being outlaned, and then EG had a much superior 5-minute rotation with tower taking, it just really blew up a lot of what Nouns wanted to do. And then both their supports were just running back and forth trying to stabilize things. They lose a couple fights, and EG is just so far ahead. And they're going to try to force a fight.
Again, they find themselves the Medusa. Jump immediately, going to stun her. And there it is. There's the Stone Gaze. Will still take a lot of this damage away from Kasabila, and they'll drag him right back in again with the X. He's just unstoppable. There's not much that they can do.
Abed just X'd, and he just ran away. He's like, all right, peace. I know you guys got this. All he did was like, all right, I just want to make sure that I offset her movement speed during her ultimate, and that was more than enough.
Yeah.
Goes back to farming mid lane. It's like, oh, it's just a little gank on the enemy carry, who's their one core lineup.
It's definitely worrying if you are Nouns. Because if you're Dusa, who's supposed to be, you know, this person that's supposed to be able to do, you know, this frontlining and whatnot, when the rest of your team is kind of falling behind, goes down that quickly, things are not feeling good.
The game is not looking good.
Okay, well, they do get a roar over onto Fly. I've got the Wraith Pack going on top of everything else. Hand of God's going to get used. This is still a dead Fly. But he doesn't go down without a fight. And Nightfall. Oh.
I mean, that's a great kill to find. He didn't have too much threat of dying. He's got decent damage with Wild Axes being maxed, so. And that Wraith Pack damage, don't forget about it.
Oh, Wraith Pack, I can't wait for it to be nerfed. I hope it gets nerfed. I don't like that item.
It just needs a couple baby nerfs. It's not that broken. Sometimes people choose not to buy it.
That's true. This is true.
Like, in my opinion, if they overbuffed anything, it was probably Vlad's maybe. They lowered the price of it by quite a bit. It was kind of everything, but they buffed it back up to the aura it was supposed to be at. They made the actual Wraith Pact a little better, and they made Vlad's cheaper. That was probably just maybe one or two too many buffs there.
Okay. Well, we do have the Agnum Scepter completed now for Gunnar, so I'm interested to see if they're going to be able to make anything happen with this, because I feel like this timing is not what he wanted at all. And the rest of the team is, you know, struggling to play catch-up.
Yeah, I mean, basically what they're going to do, they're going to try to look for snowball kickbacks. And the targets that they're all looking at, they've all got BKBs. So even if they do kick them back, their teammates are going to ideally roar immediately afterwards and then blow that guy up before he presses BKB.
Right.
Oh, he used Blink Aggressive. They could go for this.
Crit. Dropping the
they
tree.
didn't get the jump.
He's fast, too. Arteezy?
And it wasn't Gunnar leading either.
Okay, Arteezy opening up with the Rupture. There's blood right, and there's the Snowball like we talked about, but the BKB coming into play. As does roll forward. They'll kick Doom out. Get a nice pair of shards here.
Now they run.
And now yeah, that's exactly what they have to do. Moo's not looking like he's going to be able to do the run because he does get X, use the roar already. He's going to get dragged back. Let's take a little bath in this blood right. He's already silenced. And Arteezy just going to run him down one by one. One more click. All right, there it is.
Well, they only lost one. It's not the worst for the Nouns.
Could have been worse,
considering the game state. Could have been so much worse. They didn't use Doom, though. Arteezy might die to neutrals. Really close. Okay, he survived. It's very close. He was at like 60 HP there on those Ancients, but he killed them first. He knew his limits. Cool. I don't know. They kicked away the Doom in that fight, which is the right move in the moment. That they used BKBs. They didn't really even pop BKBs except for Arteezy's one. So, I don't know. They didn't really get much out of that other than only losing one hero. Juice ulti on cooldown for 30 seconds. She has no item past Manta right now. She does have a Brigand's Blade. That's a decent way to get some damage out for little, but until she gets Scotty, I just don't see how she controls or does much in teamfights at all.
She's got one of the ultimate orbs now on the courier. Hopefully she can squirrel it away.
That'll be nice. little more mana.
What's something? Definitely needs something here. There's a refresher completed though for Razor, and that is very scary. It's a hero that a lot of times you just see the brown boots refresher sort of thing coming out sometimes with the BKB, so.
Well, they are able to use the Manta Illusions to clear the creep wave at least. They don't have to approach too far, but with the gem on the EG side, Abed's run around with it with his Sanj and his BKB. He's not going to lose this anytime soon. So Nouns is basically in the position that EG was last game, where they are, well, this is more extreme for sure. EG is crushing this game, and Nouns is very far behind. But their high ground is quite good. They can slow things down with wild axes, with Medusa, with kickbacks. All you got to do is yeet them into the fountain. The fountain can kill anybody.
That's a very optimistic way of putting that. My concern is that, you know, they have the Blink Dagger over on this Beastmaster, and they need to, you know, get these good initiations, but I'm concerned they don't have the damage.
That part is also another big issue. That's definitely true.
Like the fountain, yeah, the fountain has. Okay, maybe they do need to take that outpost, though. I feel like they're just going to teleport on in. Unless they can burst down crit fast enough. All right, go for the ward, but like I said, you can see already, they're starting to teleport in. Do they still go in for this, though, is the question. Yeah, I'll bet he's joining. Got the X over onto Moo. He's got a boat. He's got Nightfall joining in. He's got his BKB. He's putting out plenty of damage. He's sapping plenty of damage, too. And now it's looking like Husky has been left all by himself, and there's a big bad Bloodseeker over here. He's waiting patiently, knows that he's going to get dragged right back. They get the stomp, and a dead Husky into his arms.
They didn't quite escape as fast as they maybe needed to. I think the issue was that before he got killed, Crit actually did place a ward there. So I think Nouns thought that they were safe to play in that area. They didn't quite escape as fast as they should have. And then they get caught in a couple of punishes. I mean, getting the kill was still fine, ultimately, and gold is actually even despite them losing 2 heroes to 1. But that's just because they're so far behind. The aim's like, please, God, give Nouns a chance to win this game.
Well, they're hanging in there again. 19k net worth lead at 20, almost 26 minutes in. It's still very, very difficult. This Medusa is moving up, though, in terms of the net worth. The rest of the team, though, still looking a little sad there on the side of Nouns.
It is looking rough for sure. I mean, at least she's almost got Scotty, about 100 gold away from that. So she pushes up the off lane there. Doesn't quite finish it before she TPs away, but Scotty's going to help a huge amount. It's very, very good against Razor. He's a ranged hero. It's going to lower his attack speed and his movement speed by a lot. It's okay against Bloodseeker, limits some of his heal when he does succeed in getting kills, but
does this end up being a rapier game?
Are good too. I mean, we're close to rapier territory without a doubt. Yeah, the game is her damage is very low right now, so this is one good way to actually get her damage up to a point where she could be competitive.
These wards are giving them so much information. Like they watch Moon Gunner just cross right over there, waiting for them.
And it's really tough to even look for these kills because all these Chen creeps are gonna be a nice buffer between their opponents. So they'll spot out Gunner trying to make these moves, and until he gets Blink Dagger, it's just so hard for Nouns to utilize the Tusk Axe because they're just not even close enough in net worth.
Give the Scotty completed though, like we said. EG standing around this pit, want to control the triangle area. Shards will block him out for a little bit.
Yeah, separating them is one option if they can get it, but yeah, they're just playing around cliff stuff right now.
The bane of RTZ generally.
Yes, and the ward vision that it provides is just too good. Now Crit's got a BKB of his own, so if he gets gone on again, he should be able to protect himself a bit.
Looks like EG, they are grouping up a bit more. You can see RTZ rejoining up with the rest of the team, separating a little bit, so perhaps they can find the advantage. They go for a smoke. There's a double damage. I wonder if they're going to see it. Yeah, they'll see it. That'll definitely help Gustavo Lee here.
This would be a good time to fight.
Gets jumped on by Crit. There it is. There's the Doom. But they have the double damage, and they've got the worst. So Gustavo Lee's doing a decent amount this time. Be able to take down Crit. Continue over onto Nightfall. Gustavo Lee, though. Oh, there it is. There's that refresher there. Just handling this Medusa. Unfortunately, not going to be able to survive here. Husky not looking too great either, as Moo is running, trying to just find some space, try to get out, try to teleport, but he can't. He gets bashed, and he will fall.
And Gunner walks away from his team like, hey, I'm alive, guys. But that's the problem right now. If he gets doomed in these fights, it's just Medusa. And yeah, sure, she kills crit, lands a nice ultimate on him, and that limits Razor jumping in. But once that's over, she's like, oh shit, they're gonna go on me. I don't have BKB, I can't TP. Now the damage comes.
And the pressure is on. They've got themselves an Ancient Dragon. And they're just cutting through these towers. Lincoln's completed for Arteezy. It's gonna be even harder to lock this guy down.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Very farmed.
And they're thinking about the Roche. See the ping coming out.
Might as well, I mean, utter map control here. Not too many cooldowns burned on the Nouns side, so I guess they could jump and fight if they want to, and that's probably why EG is sitting where they are right now.
Yeah,
they want to fight around the ward.
They smoke up out of the base. There's an arcane rune outside of the Roche pit gunner. Smoke will break pretty quickly. Here's Husky. He's going to throw his body forward. Immediately coming out Hex, though. That's brand new, shiny off of Abed. Good ward, though, coming out from Moo. We'll buy a bit more time. The X coming into play, but they have the snowball. They're going to roll right back in. The kick back over onto Crit. They should be able to do enough damage over here on the side, so they'll be able to take down Crit. Gunner still, no, they'll be able to find the final hit, and now they're just chasing after this Medusa. Stably, he's trying to get out of here. They popped the BKB. BKB is completed, though. It's already out of time. Over onto Arteezy. They're going to try to fight a little bit longer. The Lincoln's coming to play. No, they cannot do it. Arteezy finding the kill on Stubbly and finding the kill on Husky. Moo looks like he is next on the hit list. It's a triple kill for Arteezy, and that is going to open up this base real nice like for the side of Evil Geniuses.
They absolutely read Nouns' movement there. They didn't start at Roche. They said, nah, we're just going to sit on this high ground. We're going to break things. That Hex was insane. Great pickup from Abed. The moment he saw Gunner, he hexed him. No shenanigans with the kickback there. So that just started the fight on a great place for Nouns and allowed them to use their net worth advantage to end that fight. And frankly, I'm a little surprised they haven't GG'd yet after how that last fight went.
I mean,
but it's only going to be 2 racks.
Their cooldowns are pretty low here in terms of death timers. At the very least, you know, the one shining silver lining here is that they are right back up again, so. But they're about to lose Husky again. Buyback coming up from Husky. The rest of the team, they're going to try to punish Arteezy as I do have that roar. So they'll find the kill. It's a godlike 10-time streak. Nightfall popping the BKB. We'll use the snowball to kick back over onto Abed. Can they do enough damage? The question is now Nightfall, he's just latched onto this Medusa. BKB, another buyback coming out from Z-Frig as Gunner. He's being chased down. He needs to get away faster as they'll get the bushwhack over on the side, but they're still going to end up losing Gunner. He has no buyback. Break being applied. Crit jumping forward. Sees himself this Medusa. They try to force that forward, but they have the Doom. This is looking very, very bad for the Nouns. They're about to lose their Medusa. The one person who kind of forces them out of the base, and down she will fall. As on the back lines, cleaning up on Husky, and a nice stomp. The GG finally gets called. Nouns, they tried to be a little too cheeky, I think, this time around.